everyone. Thank you for joining our Sapphire session today to discover how co-innovation enables better clinical supply management. My name is Ola Zaglul, and I am absolutely delighted to be the moderator today. I am joined today by Katrin Lehmann, Senior Vice President and Head of Customer Innovation and Maintenance at SAP, Richard Grunenboom, Head of Global Clinical Supply Chain Management at Roche, and Michael Schmidt, co-founder and member of the executive board at Tenthpin Management Consultants. Before we get started with our esteemed speakers, I would like to share with you our video, which will give you a hint about our session today.
Clinical trials are complex. With so many moving parts, keeping trials on track and ensuring patient kits get to where they're needed on time is an enormous task. If just one component is missing or delayed, it can derail the trial and jeopardize patient care. And when patients around the world are anxiously waiting for new medications, rescheduling a trial simply isn't an option. Now, there are many reasons why a supply chain can fail, and it's not always possible to avoid them. But a resilient supply chain should predict these challenges and propose alternatives. It should anticipate requirements and ensure the accurate and flexible flow of materials. Using real-time data, a supply chain should improve processes, boost collaboration, and increase visibility at every step of the way. This is the future we are building with SAP Intelligent Clinical Supply Management. And working with our partners and customers, we can shape the future of intelligent, resilient, and patient-centric supply chains.
All right, so we directly go without any further ado to you, Katrin.
All right, thanks a lot, Ola, and a very warm welcome from my side. My name is Katrin Lehmann, and at SAP here, I'm heading up the customer innovation and maintenance teams. So we're developing industry cloud solutions together with our customers, niche solutions on our business technology platform, and we're also maintaining the on-premise solutions in our area. And I'm very delighted to be joined here today by Richard Grunenboom. Hello, Richard. And also by Michael Schmidt, that you might have already seen in the keynote, because he had the pleasure to present with our new board member, Julia White, especially this project here as well. So thanks a lot for joining us here today. And we would like to talk about how do we partner with our customers and also with trusted partners to bring new solutions to market, which enables our customer to turn around new business models quickly, to find solutions, not only for one individual customers, but for market niches. And this is a great example, and it has been even more known because all of us have been waiting very much for our COVID vaccinations, and we have all checked on the news the whole time, okay, how does it all work with the clinical trials and so on. So each and every one of us can relate what clinical trial management is all about these days, because we have a real life example. And I have been lucky enough to get my first vaccination 3 weeks ago, waiting for the second one. And I hope that all of you are safe and sound and also have some light at the end of the tunnel. Now, coming back to our challenges in the enterprise world, our enterprises, our customers are facing many, many challenges these days, not only the macroeconomics, but also within the industry boundaries, they're facing hyper competition. And it's not enough to just focus on your own little premise. You need to connect to your competition, to your partners. You need to have business networks. I think that was also one of the important topics in the keynote that you have seen from Christian and Julia and all the others. Yeah. So we have increasing expectations of our customers that we partner with our suppliers, with our end-to-end supply chain. And this has been even more accentuated by the COVID crisis. So we cannot wait many, many years for a new implementation of a new software stack. We have to be quick. We have to find solutions based on technologies fast. And this is what SAP is now delivering together with our customers and partners. All right, and you might have seen this slide as well before. This is the portfolio that SAP has from a technology perspective. We are basing our technology on SAP data centers or hyperscalers. Then we have the business technology platform, and then we have our intelligence suite and the industry cloud solutions. The intelligence suite is our well-known ECC or S/4HANA on-premise, but also the S/4HANA in the cloud. And all these different components together give you the opportunity to plug and play in a hybrid landscape and leads you to adopt S/4HANA quickly, but also find solutions for your individual business needs. And this is where we come in. We together want to understand your process and want to understand what is missing for you. And we want to build new products and new software solutions together that we can plug and play with the existing bigger components that you have already in your landscape, in your software landscape. We want to plug that together so that you can serve your customers and your business needs more quickly. From a customer values perspective, the time to market is essential. You, in the past, SAP sometimes took a very, very long time to implement new software solutions. This is not possible in the current environment anymore. These days, we have to be quite quickly to deliver value to you and your customers. So therefore, the time to market is really important. And SAP co-innovation enables you to get a quicker turnaround. You need to have trusted partners in there. You need to have a very good relationship with your own customers, we with you, and then also with trusted partners that help us understand and translate. I think a big piece is also translation, right, Michael? It's sometimes SAP is very technically focused, and we also need people who can translate the business language to our tech language so that we really deliver the solution that you need to solve your business problem. Then you need to have experienced people that can, on the one hand side, develop on the new technology, but also understand and put the right topics into place. And then last but not least, we also want to give you a standard solution that you can build on, that you can trust that SAP maintains it and that you have a good return on investment. This is also crucial in this co-innovation. So now handing over to Richard, and Richard is working at Roche and can explain a little bit more what the clinical trial topic is really all about and what we're doing to get the best out of that new solution. Handing over to you, Richard.
Yes, thank you, Catherine, and thank you, Ola, first of all, for hosting this great event. Why is clinical supply, a bit of a niche, and why do we need an extra solution? Is maybe what people would ask first. Well, we do have specific requirements that do not easily match with the bigger supply chain solutions we've seen so far for pharma. So may it be around planning, may it be around distribution, may it be about interfaces we need within the industry to make sure we can operate. So there is a specific need that needs to be addressed. One of the major needs that we have is a strong collaboration within our own company, with colleagues within technical operations, maybe quality or regulatory, but also commercial supply chain. And we also have needs in terms of high level of visibility and transparency about our products, the way our products move through the value chain, all the way up to our customers and then to our patients that are included in our trials. And obviously, as we've seen with COVID and with many other studies, speed is of extremely essence. So the faster we can move materials through the supply chain, the better, obviously, for that trial, and in the end, the better for that patient. And obviously, with that come advantages like maybe needing less inventory, for example, if you're moving fast. So those needs, I don't think we felt are not unique to Roche, but are more like inherent to the way people are running their clinical supply chain in general. So we felt like why don't we try to find partners that actually are in a similar situation and try to resolve those challenges and the technical solutions for those challenges in a similar or even in the same way. So hence are more of an industry solution rather than a customer or let's say a company specific solution. And we found an extreme good partnership with SAP and with Tenthpin as helping us both, because the solution of SAP builds on our current already SAP landscape, but it gives us enough flexibility to actually then deal with the specifics that a clinical supply needs and make sure it fully integrates with the existing solutions we already have. On top of that, it builds a solution which is cloud-based, which allows then also to build in other partners easily into our solution. So this modular architecture, I think, is great for the future we have in mind together. If you go to the next slide, zooming in, maybe a little bit more on the solution itself. There are parts of the solution that look after planning and the way we specifically need to do planning for a clinical trial, which is quite volatile, as you can imagine. Studies goes very, very quickly. Within months, something can be very successful and it needs to be accelerated, or it can also be that it's less successful and has to maybe be taken out of the portfolio. And then the other parts of the solution go into the manufacturing area and the associated processes there, and then all the way up to delivery and delivery to our customers. So things like full visibility and making sure we know where our products is, we know the status of our materials, then also know like all the financial aspects, for example, related to our inventory is there. We want to go to a much higher level of automation, and I think the SAP platform gives us this opportunity to build, a much higher level of automation as we have seen so far. And with reduced cycle times, reduced inventory, obviously we make ourselves more efficient. The solution sits on top of S/4HANA, but it doesn't necessarily require HANA to be used, right? So we want to address both bigger customers like Roche needs and the ability to integrate it fully with SAP, but also kind of as a standalone, I think the solution could work. And we're also looking obviously very much towards our patients and how to make our solution patient-centric. And by allowing various customer groups to participate in the solution and making it a co-design, we actually think we can make the solution much more patient-centric than maybe what we've seen so far. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Michael to give us a bit more explanation on the role he's playing, and then obviously how we address the industry and the industry consortium for this. Michael.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Katrin, for hosting this event and for the invitation. We as Tenthpin, we are very excited about this partnership and the co-innovation program and the opportunity we have here really to shape a new industry standard. And you probably have heard about it. The life science industry supply chain, both on the clinical and the commercial side, is transforming into a data-driven, patient-centric value network rather than a chain. And with that, we see a change from, I would call it, from individual innovation to more networked industry-wide innovation, well, within the industry, but also across the different segments of life sciences. We see, for example, pharmaceuticals and medical devices blurring more and more. So we joined forces with Roche and SAP to revolutionize the clinical supplies process. And Richard has already outlined some of the specific challenges the industry is facing. And the big question for us was, how can we address a challenge the whole industry is facing? Or in other words, how can we create something that the whole life science industry can benefit from? So we decided to create this industry consortium that, as of today, consists of numerous stakeholders from the industry. Most of them are large pharma companies. We have smaller biotech startups in the mix as well in order to get their perspective, in order to ensure that we are building something that really the whole industry can use and leverage. But we also have clinical trial management system providers. We have IRT, RTMS vendors that are crucial, really crucial for the clinical supply chain, as well as external value chain partners, such as contract manufacturing and logistics distribution companies. And that really allows us to have an end-to-end integrated view into what we want to build, which is a patient-centric value network. And the consortium really allows us, the industry, to address the clinical supply challenge as a whole, really, and to create an industry standard solution that everybody can benefit from, including the patient, obviously, because everything we do is centered around the patient. And the combination of deep industry expertise and also understanding the specifics of life sciences when it comes to compliance or regulatory requirements, and combining that with the use of really latest technology, that allows us to reinvent the way how businesses collaborate within the life science industry, and I believe within industries in general, and also across industries in general. So if you are not yet part of the consortium, I would like to invite you to join. It's a mutual learning activity. We are all benefiting from it. You can not only review the progress that we are making and meet with your peers and partners, but you can also actively influence the design, actively influence the solution that we are building and the capability that we are creating to become a new industry standard for clinical supplies. And with that, over to you, Katrin.
Thanks a lot, Michael. And yes, you already said it. I mean, the way we're working together, this co-innovation approach, enables us to shape the future together. We're able to influence the solution portfolio of SAP together, and we can decide what needs to be developed how and how this is going to be shipped to enable Roche to go on the journey, but also other customers. And I can only emphasize again that we're looking for front-runner customers that want to innovate together with us, that want to go down the route of developing new products, new solutions to get a quicker turnaround on your investments. And thanks a lot to Michael and Richard for going down that path with us, for shaping the future together. And now we're looking forward to your questions.
So maybe until the audience thinks about the questions a little bit first, perhaps Michael and Richard can highlight again a little bit about the challenges of clinical trials, especially in light of the current situation. So I know, Michael, you highlighted this in the keynote with Julia, but perhaps Richard, over to you as well to give us a bit of an idea.
Clinical trials in general, I think, have some specific challenges. On one hand, you want to have an extreme reliable supply chain because every patient counts and every study is important. So we have service levels 99 points and above, right? And on the other hand, it's extremely volatile. It changes very quickly with not a lot of time to adjust, right? So a new study can be designed in a couple of months, and then we need to be ready, basically. So those two extremes, basically, on one hand, reliability, which would like obviously things to be stable, and on the other hand, the high level of agility that inherent is with a portfolio of bigger companies like Roche. Bringing those together is obviously not easy. And then obviously the need for efficient systems, very transparent systems and data, ability to automate where possible. So those challenges, I think, are there. And we've tried to obviously solve this in the past in a specific way, also with SAP solutions already, but not maybe as an industry, or not solving it jointly with our industry peers. And I think that's where the new dimension now comes in, that we're trying to find solutions which work across the industry, which already by design builds in the requirements from various partners, rather than focusing just, I would say, on our own requirements or just on clinical supply, if you like. That would be my 2 cents, but Michael, please join in.
Yeah, sure. So if we compare the different participants we have in the consortium, they all have one thing in common. On top of the business challenges that you, Richard, described, it is the fact that they have very disconnected and scattered IT solutions and IT landscapes, because what many people don't realize in life sciences or in pharma specifically, ERP has made a big impact in the last decade, but that's mainly on the commercial side. So the nice integrated suite where you have finance, controlling, your materials management, your sales distribution, production planning, execution, all running in one box, that's something hard to find on the R&D side, and that includes clinical trials. So you still find a variety of different systems, both off the shelf, but also homemade, in-house developed, homegrown solutions that don't really connect to each other. You have a lot of complicated interfaces and a huge amount of manual work, a huge amount of paper-based information that is exchanged. And I would say a lot of data exchanged the very traditional way. And that is where we are targeting now the intelligent clinical supply management solution. It could become something like a foundation for an ERP type of a solution, really, on the R&D side. And as Katrin, as you mentioned at the beginning, sometimes it requires translation from the industry, from the business requirement into technology solution, speech or technology language. I really believe that's something we have to consider also going forward, given that SAP's footprint in R&D is still very limited. So this is a very, very significant opportunity for everybody involved, and specifically for the industry, because, and Richard, you would agree, the average pharma company is organized at minimum in 2 silos, and this is R&D and the commercial world, right? And I really believe that with what we are doing here, we are able to eliminate most of what has become so siloed in the last decades.
Great, thank you, Richard and Michael. Is there anything you would like to add from a technology perspective, Katrin, from our perspective at SAP regarding this co-innovation?
Absolutely. I think what also Richard pointed out, we have at Roche, we have an S/4HANA system running. And I think that's a great basis. And in S/4HANA, as also Michael just pointed out, we have all the commercial processes running. We have the SD, sales and distribution running and all that. But this R&D piece is not available. And Roche in the past had a solution that was quite individual for them. And we now are building something that is focused on a smaller niche market. And therefore, we are looking to work with this consortium approach with developing something that other customers can also use and that we can all build on. So I think the business technology platform is offering us, from a technology perspective, to build this smaller solution and deploy it more quickly. And I think that's an awesome opportunity for each and every business to develop something that then integrates seamlessly with S/4HANA and then plugs and plays quickly, so that you have a solution running end to end that focuses on your business needs. So I think from a technology perspective, we have a great path forward here now, and we're looking to partner with Tenthpin also to get this to other customers then. Yeah. And I also saw there was another question, Ola, right?
Yes, in the meantime, there are a few questions already. So the first question is, can you name drop some of the other members of the consortium? So
well, I can.
Yeah, Michael can.
In the past, it's much easier for Tenthpin to do that than it is for SAP. But yeah, we can name drop. We have a core of 5 companies, which is Roche, Novartis, Lilly, Amgen, and Merck in the US. And what makes them unique, they are already running their legacy CTSM operations on an SAP-based custom development, which was, by the way, built with our predecessor company, Lodestone. So there is a long history and long heritage. In addition to that, we have companies such as Gilead, we have Boehringer Ingelheim, we have Janssen, J&J, we have UCB, just to name a few. So that's, as you can see, obviously quite a mix of different companies, sizes, and also product portfolios. And then we also shared with you that we have external partners in the loop, right? And so we have onboarded the first set of IRT RTMS vendors, just to name IRT vendors. 4G Clinical are on board, Symmetric are on board, Sharp Clinical are on board, Almec are on board. And we also just recently started the onboarding of Verum in the MES space, because the integration to manufacturing execution systems is key for many of our customers. And we will continue to onboard additional external partners. And as said before, if you are not part of this consortium yet, you are kindly invited to join. It's not that we did set a limit to ourselves, so everybody who wants to participate is welcomed.
Right, thank you, Michael. I think the next two questions are sort of related. So what is the timeline, and can you share what is the status at the moment of the CTSM solution today, whether it's in production already at Roche or with other customers? So perhaps Richard, if you can shed some clarity on that.
Also, whatever.
Yeah, happy to do so, and I guess Catherine can also chime in. But we started roughly last summer, and we're using this sprints kind of approach. So we actually trying to develop parts of the solution as we go along. And we want to make it a very integrative process. So some of the companies and the representatives of those companies Michael just mentioned are actually involved. It's not just Roche that comes up with their own requirements, but really want to make it an industry solution to also make it sustainable for the future. And a first release will be available in the running of 2022, probably the second half, if I'm honest, which then has already quite some, more than just an MVP, I would argue, more than just a minimal viable product, but it will actually have quite some functionality already available, which we will probably feel confident with to actually already take that live and start working with. And then subsequent releases will come after, which then build out those solutions and enhance the solution. We also have already ideas on even beyond that with innovation topics that we also would like to start bringing in. But I'm already talking over the next 2 to 3 years. But maybe Catherine, if you maybe want to chime in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're, as you pointed out, we're developing a first product version to be released this year, end of this year. And then we're planning to onboard, and this version will then be implemented at Roche, connected to their individual landscape and used. But the product itself will also be developed further. So it will also follow a regular release cycle, just as any other SAP solution. And that's also the good thing. We at SAP will maintain that solution. So you also have your return on investment. You don't need to look at maintenance individually and so on. So it's a standard product by SAP. And this is also the nice part of this co-innovation, right?
All right, the next question is who to get in touch with if you want to hear more about the consortium and the initiative. So, Catherine.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Please reach out to me and my team, and we can distribute and ensure that you get the right contacts. I also answered just a few requests here on the chat. Happy to schedule individual sessions. Petra Streng here from our IBU is also here. So we will ensure that we do the proper follow-ups and ensure that you can onboard and be part of our consortium and be part of our co-innovation process. Looking forward to working with you.
All right, the next question is, from a pharma point of view, the amount of data generated on a daily basis is extremely high. Does S/4HANA have the capability to support the same based on your experience when we are talking about end-to-end SCM? So, Catherine, I guess the question would be helpful for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about the day-to-day data generated From a pharma point of view, mainly, it is extremely high. So is S/4HANA able to support the same amount of data generation, and especially when we're talking about end-to-end supply chain management?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have our HANA database underneath. The HANA database is a highly scalable database that is able to process huge amounts of data. So we don't only have pharmaceutical customers, but we also run telcos. We run other high data intensive businesses on our HANA database. We need to do a proper sizing and assessment of what is needed for your individual use case. But that's also the beauty of our HANA technology. We're able to process huge amounts of data very quickly. So yes, we can do that.
Yeah, and Ola, maybe to add, right? So big is relative, I guess, or a lot is relative. So if I compare, obviously, the data that's being generated within a company like Roche, really on the research side, where we do the experiments of new molecules and new treatments, that data wouldn't necessarily reside in an SAP solution, but rather in other solutions. So what I think, yes, it is still quite a lot of data we also generate in a clinical supply chain, but I don't think in terms of volumes that we need or data volumes that we need in comparison to other processes we have, it's still relatively small, I would say.
All right. Well, there are no more questions coming through, and I believe we're already over time by 2 minutes. So I would like to thank our speakers. Thank you very much for joining today's Sapphire session. And to the participants, I hope you can enjoy the rest of Sapphire. Make sure to register for as many sessions as possible. Thank you very much, everyone.